gonna start off with you for this one. I don't like. I know nobody likes to see this when somebody goes down. Definitely off a non-contact injury, whether it's in basketball or football. It sucks. Because we know these players want to play. They play at a high level. They have an opportunity to do something that people dream about playing in the NFL. So Kyle Murray suffered a torn ACL. So Corey, what do you think is next for the Cardinals, and do you think they keep Cliff Kingsbury?
What's next is losing publicly on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Like all jokes aside, I agree. It sucks seeing a guy go down like that, especially this late in the season, because who knows if he's going to be ready to go for the start of next year at this point. I think changes have to come to Arizona. They were building something, got to the playoffs, faltered at the end of the year each of the last two seasons. And then this year was just a total regression from the franchise. And then you throw in the fact that they're on the in-season Hard Knocks and everybody is watching them lose these games now and everyone sees it. I think that further embarrassment for ownership is very likely to spur on change. Owners don't like it. A lot of them hate losing. Everyone's going to hate doing it publicly. I think that the Murray injury might actually help facilitate that change as well, because you realize when you have a young quarterback that has talent, that window's short.
Yeah,
and I think it's pretty apparent to just about anybody from the outside looking in that Cliff Kingsbury is not getting the most out of Kyler Murray. I think they are wasting away his prime years, and they need to clean house and bring in somebody who can develop him, because he's got all the tools. He's shown flashes, and a lot of this mess, like, it seems weird to point out, but ever since the fuss over the contract in the offseason, things have just it's just been downhill for the Cardinals. So, their GM just announced like a half an hour ago that he's taking a medical leave away from the team. It's obviously, you hope he's okay. Medical conditions, never good. But it's hard not to look at that, look at the way the season's going, look at the hot seat that this team is on, and maybe wonder if he's not seeing the writing on the walls, or potentially hearing some rumors going around internally in that office that his job isn't safe, and is building an escape route from that job without actually being fired. Because if he knows he's getting the axe, it kind of looks better if he just voluntarily walks away because of health, sits out a year, and then decides he's ready to jump back in, rather than just outright being fired. But they've got to bring in a new coach that can tap into Kyler's potential. I don't know that New Orleans would want Sean Payton in the NFC, but I think that's an interesting option for them to go out.
Said it was on his
go
list.
After.
But,
and I mean, Kyler's a talented guy that I think Sean Payton could do some really interesting stuff with. I think Frank Reich should be on that list, because he has shown a proven track record of working with good quarterbacks. But Cliff ain't the guy. I mean, I said, just us sitting on a couch looking in have seen that Cliff isn't the guy for 3 years now. Arizona's got to pull that trigger, eat the money of the extension that you gave them, and move on to actually give your team a chance to win.
Craig, what you think? What did the Cardinals do next year, man? That's a big injury, and I mean, do you think they keep? So, what do you think? What do you think should be next for the Cardinals? And do you think they keep Cliff Kingsbury?
I mean, I don't think Kingsbury is going to be back next year. I thought last season was, I guess, the ceiling for him. Team was really, they kind of backed into the playoffs. Started out, I think, 8-0 or something like that, or whatever it was. And then everything happened, and then they got to the playoffs, lost, and then everything on the off season with Kyler Murray about the whole contract stuff and the stuff that they put into the contract or supposedly put into the contract about watching film and all this other stuff. So had that going on, and then the season started, and then obviously I didn't think they were going to be a playoff team anyway, and maybe not 4-9 bad at this point, but I mean they're 4-9, so there's just a lot going on for this team. I think obviously they need to get rid of the coach, figure out what's going on with Kyler, see how long he's going to be out. He could be out pretty much all next season as well, and then now you're looking at Trace McSorley or Colt McCoy as your starting quarterback. I don't know. That's probably
Colt said he's ready.
That's
to
not
retire.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's what is being said.
I mean, maybe they can convince him to come back, especially if they know Kyler's going to be out for an extended period of time, and he's going to get a new coach. But then again, the new coach might not want Colt McCoy. Who knows what at that point? So I think the coach is the first thing. Then trying to figure out what's going on with Kyler. And I mean, and looking at this point, they're going to get like a top 10 pick in the draft. So maybe try to do something on the defensive side. Maybe I don't think there's any wide receiver that. I mean, they have wide receivers, but they don't really need that. They have. I think their offense is, especially the guys that they had to throw the ball to. I think they're fine. They have Zach Ertz, they have Rondell Moore, and they have Brown, and they have D-Hop. So they have a bunch of guys there. So it don't matter. I mean, I ain't gonna say it doesn't matter, but whoever comes in to play quarterback next year until Kyler gets back, I mean, they're gonna have options. They're gonna have a lot of guys that they can throw the ball to and rely on. And even Connor, I mean, he's a solid runner. Last season he had, I think, the most touchdowns in the NFL. So he's just been injured this year a little bit, but I think they need to focus on the defensive side in this upcoming draft and try to figure out that point, because the 49ers, I mean, they're not going anywhere. The Seahawks look surprisingly better. And the Rams, I don't know what's going to happen with them because obviously their quarterback situation as well. But I think once they get everybody back healthy, it could be maybe they could come back for that team. And I think it could be they could be a contender possibly for that division at least. So you're looking at the Cardinals right now as the worst team in that division. So it's going to be another long season, especially if Kyler's out for a while. And it might be just the best. I mean, it might be beneficial for them just to hold them out all next season as well, especially if they start out.
To make sure he's completely healthy.
They're 3-9 after 12 games, and Kyler's ready to come back. I mean, there's really no point, and you might just go ahead and just sit him, or maybe maybe I guess you can put him out there to see what you got and see what he can do. But at the same time, he's your franchise quarterback, so you might not want to risk that. But the Cardinals are in trouble, I think, because they're just. I mean, other than Kyler Murray, I mean, I don't know what really because D-Hop is getting older. Hollywood Brown's been hurt. Zach Ertz got hurt just recently. Rondell Moore's been hurt. So I mean, their franchise guy, or the face of the franchise, is Kyler Murray. He's probably not going to be there for a lot of the games next year. So there are some. There's always going to be some pretty good coaching options out there, and with Kyler Murray being your quarterback and as young as he is, obviously this team could be, and it's in Arizona, so maybe that could persuade some people. It's warm and all that, but I think it could be a solid destination for whoever's going to come in and be a coach. Hopefully they get somebody really good, somebody that knows the offense and wants to run. I would say get an offensive guy, but I'll see what happens. I don't know who that's going to be. We'll see what happens in this offseason. So, but I think just they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think, unfortunately, I don't know if you bring back Tyler this time next year, because if you're 4-9 again, it's no point of bringing in your quarterback whose cap hit is the next season $37 million. That's his base salary. It kicks in, so the contract he signed kicks in 2024. So I think he's probably not gonna have a year. Now here's the thing. They have a good offense. They've had a ton of injuries this year. Their GM just walked away. And GM probably gonna walk away from medical issues. And then you gotta think this is probably really stressful because totally healthy, I think they have a very good team, but I don't think the Kingsbury is the right coach for him. I love him as a person, but I think he's lost the locker room. He has a very calm demeanor, which I respect. He's a likable guy. I just don't think he's a good NFL head coach at this point. Not for the Cardinals. Maybe in the future. But I just, I think that they're in just a tough spot, and this is a big injury for them. And the next coach is gonna have to. The next coach is gonna have to be. They're gonna have to get a lame duck year, right? So maybe Sean Payton wants that, and I totally agree with them fixing the defense. Maybe they get D'Amico Ryans from San Francisco. He brings in a offensive assistant from San Francisco that runs that type of offensive system. Maybe they run the ball a lot, and then D'Amico Ryans can maybe fix the defense. Maybe that's just an option, or you go after Sean Payton, or another offensive guy. But they have to know that the GM that they're hiring and the coach that they're hiring they got to give them. I don't want to say next year is lost, but they gotta, next year they have to understand they don't have Kyler Murray because they're probably not going to bring him back. So he's probably not going to play next year because if say Colt McCoy comes back, Zach Ertz comes back, D Hop, Marquise Brown, they hire Sean Payton, and you're fourth. Let's say you're 7-6. Then maybe Kyler Murray comes back. But if you hire, let's say Sean Payton again, but without Kyler Murray, Colt McCoy has some limitations. They're 5-8. You're not going to bring Kyler Murray back. You're just going to wait till he's totally healthy because you want, at least for him to have. I hope he doesn't lose all his athleticism, but we've seen ACLs are pretty, they're pretty hard to come back from. I know that medical science, it's easier to come back from back in the day, but he might lose some athleticism. He might. I don't think RG3 did his first one, but his second one, he definitely lost some athleticism. So, the owner has to understand patience at this point in time. And, now everybody says it's not an appealing job. I'm not going to lie. If I was a head coach, I would not go there. Not without Kyler Murray. I'm going to be honest with you. I will be dead honest. And if somebody's like, oh, man, you might not get another opportunity. It's the NFL. Another opportunity will come up. But, you don't want to be in a position where you go 2-14 and then they fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Cardinals don't have a good history of patience. If you come in there, you don't do good, the head coach, say they hired D'Amico Ryans, he comes in there, they go 5-11, and he fires him and gets another head coach because, so there has to be an understanding of the expectation of next year. Because, we've all seen, now listen, unless you're Kyle Shanahan, or Pete Carroll, now, if they get Sean Payton, maybe he can replicate that. But it's hard. It's hard to win without in the NFL, especially this time of year, without a quarterback that's dynamic. But they got a lot of work to do, man. They got a lot of work.